Hey guys, are you ready to take your Pluto SDR to the next level and unleash its full potential? If so, this is the video for you. I'm going to teach you how to increase your tuning range from 70 megahertz to 6 gigahertz, increase the bandwidth from 20 megahertz to a whopping 56 megahertz. We're also going to remove the CPU limiter, going from a one-core SDR to a dual-core software-defined radio powerhouse. And if that wasn't enough, I'm also going to teach you how to revert all of these changes just in case you've already tried it and now are running into an issue where your SDR is not working properly. So without further ado, my name's Corrosive. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Signals Everywhere, and we're starting right now. So we're going to be doing this on Windows. Get your Pluto SDR connected. The first thing we're going to need to do is go down to that Windows button in the lower left corner of your screen, type in Device Manager as 2 words. You'll get a screen like this, and what we need to do is go down to our ports, COM, and LPT. Should be a little window like this, and we need to look for the Pluto SDR serial console. In my case, it's COM port 6. Yours could be 8, 9, 12, I don't know. But you need to figure out what that COM port is because we need it for the next step. So mine is COM port 6, and I like to use PuTTY as my serial console software. You can use whatever you like, but links will be in the description below for PuTTY and the other software you see me use. So from here, I'm going to select serial, and we get a default speed of 9600 baud. Don't have to touch it. That's actually the correct speed. And our serial line is going to be COM 6 instead of 1. So we're going to go ahead and click on this, and you now see we have a nice big black screen with a green cursor. We're going to press enter, and it says, "Welcome to Pluto. Please log in." Pluto login. And I'd like to log in as root. So we're going to type in root, and for our password, analog. And now we have our Pluto SDR console. Serial console rather. And before we get started, let me explain how this hack or modification works, however you might want to look at it. Essentially, Pluto SDR has 2 chips that they use in their SDR series. The original Pluto came out with an AD9364. It had that tuning range of 70 megahertz to 6 gig with the 56 megahertz of bandwidth. The one that is used in all the Adalm Plutos now is the AD9363, which has the lower range with 20 megahertz of bandwidth, 325 to 3.8 gigahertz tuning range. And so what we can do is trick the Pluto into thinking it has the AD9364 chip. This might work fantastic and you'll get the full tuning range. You might only get some of the increased tuning range. It might not work at all. So I'm going to teach you not only how to apply these modifications, but how to revert them. And if you're interested in using the SDR plugin, you're going to actually need to use this modification anyway. So let's get into it without further ado. From our serial console, we need to type in FW set ENV, adder name, and it's going to be compatible. And we also need to set another environment variable here, FW set ENV ATTR underscore val 809364. Now, please be careful doing this. If you mistype this, you're going to end up with a Pluto SDR that won't function properly. You'll try to start an SDR client and it'll crash on you. Now, again, if you run into that problem, I'm going to show you how to revert this, but just know that that is a possibility here. So once we've got this in here, we're also going to go ahead and set the environment variable to release that max CPU limit and let this use both cores of the processor. So we're going to do FW underscore set ENV max CPUs, and we're going to press enter. Now that all of our values have been entered, I'm going to type in reboot. And what's going to happen is the Pluto SDR is actually going to restart. So what you'll need to do is wait for it to reboot until the Pluto SDR kind of pops back on and it tells you it's ready to go. And from there, we actually need to power cycle it. And the reason we have to power cycle it is the Pluto SDR is not going to let us back into the serial console until we do. So I unplug the USB cable and I'm going to plug it back in. And that's all we have to do to set these modifications. Now, I promised you I was going to also show you how to revert them in the event that you had a problem, and that's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up my PuTTY console again. We're going to go to serial, and again, I'm COM port 6, but yours could be different. And again, welcome to Pluto. I've never been to Pluto. Well, I guess I have. We're going to log in as root. Our password is analog. And I definitely didn't spell it right. Analog. There we go. So let's go ahead and revert these. First, let's do the CPU. We're going to do FW underscore set env max CPUs 1. Enter. Now, the way you can check this to make sure it was entered correctly is you can do FW underscore print env and then the variable that you'd like to see. So max CPUs. And let's see. Looks like my dyslexia got to me. So FW print env max CPUs. Max CPUs are equal to 1. So that worked. Now we need to set the environment variables for the adder name and value. So we're going to do FW set env attr underscore name and just press enter. We're just going to wipe out that function we put in there. And now we're going to set another environment variable here, which is the adder val. And we're going to wipe that out. And what this does is it sets it back to the defaults. If you don't specify which chip you're using, the Adalm Pluto is automatically going to assume you're using an AD9363. So once we've erased those values, let me actually show you here. We're going to do print env adder underscore name, and you'll see it says error, adder name not defined. That's exactly what you want for your adder name and your adder val. Once you've done this, type in reboot. And again, once the Adalm Pluto has fully rebooted, unplug the USB, plug it back in, and you should now have a restored Adalm Pluto with the correct environment variables for the original tuning range. So just in case you entered anything wrong or you had other problems, this will fix that for you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If it helped you out, be sure to smack that like button and let me know in the comments. If you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit subscribe and the bell icon so you don't miss the future videos. I upload a new video every week. And if you'd like to help support the channel, consider buying the Signals Everywhere official t-shirt from the link in the description or support me directly on Patreon. All of my patrons are greatly appreciated, and at the very lowest level tier, you actually get early access to all the videos on my channel several days to sometimes weeks before the public release. So with that being said, I love you all dearly. Thank you for being here, and I will hope to see you all in the next one.